it's been a little bit of a journey. I was able to go from 4K a month to pretty much 10K a month in sub 30 days. Getting to just be around Anas and watch him work and watch him actually go and close deals I'd never actually seen a coach go and perform to a higher standard than like I even actually thought possible. I've paid tens and tens of thousands of dollars for coaching programs. This guy's actually different than any other sales course or coaching that I've ever gotten to experience before. Like that's the big thing that really like pushed me into the Ascenders movement.
We pride ourselves on NBC Sales being completely different than anything anyone would have been exposed to in the space. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Anas here, founder of the NBC Sales System. I'm excited today, going to be interviewing one of our fellow Ascenders, aka one of our clients, and you'll learn more about the tribe, the Ascenders tribe, NBC Sales, all that fun stuff. There'll be a link around that. And Keaton over here, beautiful, beautiful, remarkable story. Going from $4,000 a month in commission all the way to $27,000 a month in straight commissions. And the key thing is not just hitting that once, but duplicating the multiple 5 figures in earnings month after month after month. So I'm pumped to have him here with us. You know, we focus on real people, real results. So we're just going to dive in. These are unedited, they're raw, they're trimmed, they're as authentic as they could be. So we'll have a blast. And welcome, Keaton. Thanks for hopping on. It's great to have you. Would love it. Tell us a little bit about Mr. Keaton, a little bit about the journey, what's going on in your world as we dive in here.
Oh man, how far back you want to go? I think
man,
we'll start with I think just the journey from where I was at before NBC to after is going to be probably the most helpful for everybody actually to watch this, and for myself to be able to recap, because that's the
like maybe share like how long have you been in sales before we met? Like how long have you been doing the high ticket? Maybe tell us a little bit about that.
I've been bouncing around in and out of sales for several years, really, but in the high ticket space, kind of more doing what I actually closer to what I am now. I met you technically like the first month on one offer. I got a like brief little glimpse into the coaching and NBC, and then like parted ways with that offer and went to kind of out into the world on a great big adventure, and just struggled bouncing offer to offer, like kind of eating crap for 6-9 months. And I think before, like with the point that I really kind of like threw in the towel is about when I really got involved with NBC again. And it was 9+ months of working crazy hard, nothing really taking off. And I was doing
and like crazy hard. I think because everyone has a different definition. Like what is actually crazy hard? Because I don't think people understand or process, because everyone says hard, but like what was that for you?
We had ads running, we had inbound lead flow, and there's quite a bit of it, and there's only 2 of us on the offer. So like I would wake up 7 a.m. a lot of the time, and then I would be like responding to leads, texting, calling people from the moment that I woke up until the moment that I went to sleep, and I would work 14-15 hours a day. Like there was not a break, there was no pause, 6 days a week.
And how much money were you making at that point? Putting in
like
14-15 hour days.
Like we had 2K months, 3K months, 4K, maybe like would hit a 5K every once in a while. It was not consistent. We had like these
that's like you pedal to the metal, like pouring in, pushing, and still not breaking that forward, maybe even tethered the 5K there. So what happened?
Bandwidth wise, there was literally like no more work and effort that I could put in. And I like realized that, kind of had that light bulb moment. And I was just like, I've got to do something. I've got to do something that actually works. And I paid for coaching before. I had been through programs, and it obviously wasn't helping me that much. So the one thing that I remembered is that
don't share any names. I don't want us to slander. We don't do that. So So you've been to other coachings.
Yeah. But you had the school program that was up and like actually running, and I just remembered you from briefly kind of getting a glimpse into NBC.
You were for context. I was we manage offers and run done for you sales management. We build the marketing systems for companies from 8 figures, multiple 8 figures to 7 figures all across. And we like briefly intersected on an offer that we were managing that you were kind of in there and on to the next thing. So I know that's how we first met. And then I guess you're at this point that you're like, man, I'm working my ass off. Like there's not much more. You don't lack the volume, because a lot of times people, they're just lacking volume. When you go look at them, they do 2-3 calls a day, and you're like, well, dude, like, how's someone going to help you? Right. So you didn't lack the effort or the volume. And it sounds like you're like, hey, I needed some added coaching. So what kind of happened? I know there was a bit of a journey just to enter our program. Like what kind of happened from there and on, if you can kind of walk us through a little bit.
No, I got into the school program in NBC and jumped in there, and I got onto the first like Friday or Saturday call. I think they might have been on Saturdays or
So
Fridays at
like
the
you're
time,
talking
whatever.
about like our free community, the low ticket, all of that for
Yeah.
context. Yeah, cool,
But I
cool.
jumped in, showed up to call number one, and literally like just the energy that was brought to the call with the questions and some of the insights when I was able to take and directly apply. I knew from like call one like my life had literally just changed. Like I was like, this is freaking. I gave me. I remember getting off of that call and going and talking to like my cousin Joey that works with me, and I was like, man, like that, like I actually have hope. Like I see it. Like I see the possibility. Like I had like I was pretty burnt out, honestly. Like I was putting so much work in and not getting a result over such an extended period of time that
Of
it
course.
was hard to be like, what do we do? Like I can't do this forever. This is not a breakthrough. And within the one cause, I just learned so much. I just improved so much. I just felt so much better about the trajectory of how I could set like the whole next day and work day and week that I was like, this is
Yeah.
I just gotta get Joey on this. I gotta get him to show up to these things, like actually feel this, and the energy that was delivered on the call is just, like it brought hope back into the business for me and like what I was actually doing and the energy that I
Hey,
was putting in.
man.
So
Amazing.
it was
Amazing. So
yeah.
so you learned strategies. You got some leadership, some sales strategy. Because on the free stuff that we're doing in the tribe, so there'll be a link if you want to find out about it. The Ascenders Tribe, and we do live call reviews, role plays. I'll take live sales calls. Like I'll literally go on and I'll stream live sales, all that madness. And you're gonna just hopped on to share it, learn some of the strategies, got and just it's such a hard thing to explain to someone if they're not a part of it. And we're like, hey, come see what the tribe. Like we usually call it a tribe. I know a lot of times people just say community and it's just a word. I'm like, no, this is a global movement. It's such incredible people in there. And I know it's dangerous to be in there because it's so infectious, the energy, just outside of all the learnings and the teaching. So I love and it's such a blessing that you got to be a part of that. So you take some of that and you're like, hey, let me go implement what I'm learning. Kind of what happens. Through that little bit of journey, and then maybe tell us a little bit how then that leads you into joining our program and getting more of our advanced coaching.
Yeah, no, I remember like the time I was in, I think Paraguay, the first call that I jumped on, left like a week or two later, ended up going to Brazil, like Florianopolis area. And I
Full
jumped on
nomad.
like
I love it.
over a few weeks, and man, the difference of the trajectory of getting in on the calls, like actually coming in and preparing questions, and then beyond that actually just going through the modules. And I think at the time there was maybe like 15 videos
It
in
was
the
it
module.
was it
Like
was
there
small. Now it's like 10x that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like I went in there the other day, it's crazy beefed up. There's an absurd amount of value
Trust
in
me, it
there.
hurts our soul how much we're giving out in there. So what you're expressing, we feel.
No, like just the videos and stuff that were in there in the coaching program. Like I went through those, and remember there's the faster of like how to learn module.
Yeah, yeah.
And I went 3, 4 times and just really internalized it and took those lessons to heart. It was like changed the way that I actually got to learn. And then I went through a few of the modules, and even if information itself wasn't exactly what I was looking for at the time, I was pausing it. I was like copying the hand movements, the tonality,
Yeah,
like I was just trying to extract every bit of value that I could from every single piece of those, and just
love that.
how I showed up, I would speak, hand gestures, everything.
Yeah.
Just within 30 days of doing that and showing up to like 3 calls, I'm more than doubled commissions and cash collected. Like went from 4K to over 8K, like personally,
That's
like just
crazy. And that's
within
from the free nibbles of NBC sales training.
yeah.
So tell us, because I know you were reaching out to us for a bit, trying to join our coaching program to kind of get more in depth, to get access to me, the team, the elite tribe, everything of all the other ascenders. Maybe tell us what happened during that journey and kind of after joining.
Yeah, so obviously with the initial success, I just kind of wanted more. Like I was like, okay, like there's going to be a level beyond this. Like I'm not capped out by any means, but right now I'm getting limited access even to the team, and I more than doubled, or like 2.5x, almost 3x, really what I was making just in that period of time. And I was blowing up the DMs. I was messaging in us 2, 3 times a week, making some selfie videos and memes and taking pictures of Joey, like just putting captions on stuff.
I think I
I
got
think
one. You guys were on a mountain. I also remember I got some you were like on a hike and I love that. And I think just for context, people maybe don't misinterpret this. We are so I'm trying to find the amicable word of judicious about who joins our inner world. We're not the credit card on a pulse. Because as you know, all of our programs have 100% money back guarantee, right? So if someone on my team or myself, we decide that like, hey, we can get this business, this team, this individual, this closer, whatever the case may be. If we determine someone's a fit for a program and we can get them a result, obviously, and there's the values alignment and so much of that, we take them on. If we somehow don't align with the individual, maybe based on there's so many different reasons, right? If it's not a heck yes for both of us, then we don't take them on. And I think part of it is kind of as we were having the conversations over the months of you reaching out, it wasn't a perfect fit at the moment. And I think at some point, I don't even remember exactly what happened. Maybe you can keep it on. At some point, we're like, okay, let's do it. Let's have a call. Yeah.
well, in reality, I think what it was is because you and I had talked briefly, and I think you kind of knew the position. I think it was probably a little bit of the season and time you were in as well. But I had probably 6, 9 months of not making as much as like we were actually spending just to stay afloat, and I was
Yeah.
30K plus in debt and credit cards, and I was barely chipping away at that, and like making it month by month by month, and knew that, and probably just didn't want to work for free, realistically. And I think you knew that I was in a little bit of a tough spot, and I needed a few months from the money from even just the value gotten from the free coaching to get into a position where I could like actually, it could even be remotely possible to work with you guys and make sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, the understanding like now, getting to look back, like it was a pretty valuable 2, 3 months of follow up, and I think it got to a point where you actually just believed in me enough to come and actually fight for me and for
Yeah.
Joey both to get us
Yeah.
involved.
And when you joined, because you're like, hey, now I have to invest in coaching. We had the call, you qualified, like, hey, let's bring you in. How scary was it? Because from my understanding, you were not liquid for the investment. You're not like, oh, like no problem, everything's umbaye. How does that show up? And what kind of transpired from that decision?
I mean, for me, it was a no-brainer. It's like the only option. Like I had been floating my life on cards for almost a year at that point. So it was like any amount additional, like it was very much make or break, not going home. Like I will succeed. There's like I would have lived on the street in Medellin or something and sold fruit to get back to the point
Yeah.
of like I wasn't gonna go home. I wasn't gonna like actually feel the level of disappointment to me, myself, my family, anything. I
Yeah.
set out to
And I
pretty
think
much
that was one
build.
of the biggest, things was that, like, one of the things we always talk about is the wit it attitude, the whatever it takes. And when we spoke, I was like, oh, he's got the wit it. Like you just had the whatever it takes. And like instantly I just see that in your eye. And I'm like, it's a no-brainer because I know you'll come in super coachable, willing to learn. Because we don't teach light stuff, right? So we need someone coming in hungry, willing to learn and do the work. Um, and like, and I know I kind of just jumped in here. Like, tell us. So you make the investment, okay? And if I'm not mistaken, you're floating that on debt, like you're over leveraged at this point. Scary,
Yeah.
scary feeling. And yeah,
Yeah, the next week over the next 3 weeks, we more than doubled and paid for the investment. So it was just no brainer.
hey
Like
man,
investment
let's
made.
go.
I remember the
Okay.
next week was like a week for us. Like we just had a yeah. We did 6K. We did like we made like 50. We went from I think the first month working with you guys directly was a $18,000 a month or something. It was a
That's
17K.
insane. That's
Uh,
insane. That's insane. And that was on the same offer. You didn't.
yeah,
Okay.
same
Just for
positions.
context, because sometimes someone will be like, well, they found like they went to like a biz op or whatever, and you're like, man, we didn't even jump into we're like what you're selling. I'm like, we were just so caught into what's happening. So you're selling marketing services to maybe just high level, like 10 seconds, talk about the offer.
Yeah, like marketing services to really like contractors, restoration companies, very B2B space, blue collar, like just B2B, like B2B in a relatively beat up market, I would say for the most
Of
part.
course.
And
Yeah.
as the whole like chaos of the industry makes there's a massive trust recession within. It's Yeah, we're the things that we're actually doing and building. I don't know exactly how much detail I want to share because some of it is like actually a little bit
Yeah,
exclusive.
you
Like,
keep that. You keep that. You keep that. We never know where this video ends up, right? So you go, you hit 18K. Okay. What kind of starts to
yeah.
happen? Because if you're like, hey, I'm, negative 30K in debt or whatever it is, like what starts to happen as you make 18K and then like maybe tell us a little bit about over the coming months and then what starts to change in your world, right? Just like for you on a personal level, mental, spiritual, emotional, just like talk us a little bit through that.
Yeah, well, I think over the next few months, I think that was one of the coolest things about getting involved with like the whole community and just being around the ascenders. We were back in Medellin at the time. We actually got to meet a couple of other guys in the whole community and the tribe and
Yeah.
spend time around them. And everybody's putting in the work. You get that whole like feeling of family, community, and we went from like life habits, honestly, like sleep, diet, all like kind of all the wreck without even really knowing it, and just very problem accustomed
Yeah.
to Nas Whoop. It
Hey,
made me
yeah.
there's like
All the
all these,
biohacking, blood testing, blood work, nutrition, sleep, all the productivity hacks,
yeah.
all the high performance. Yeah.
No, so just with that, like life changed quite a bit. Attitude, I think, mood, overall health, boosted pretty good amount. Actually getting into the gym, like forcing us into the gym was a pretty good.
If
It
you
just
do not work out, you do not stay in our program. So when he says forced, it's pretty forced. And just maybe
uh,
just a side note, because sometimes people look at us and like, some refer world's number one sales and high performance coach, right? And part of the trick is, you know, I've done the sales and coached thousands and thousands of people and done this for over 15 years and I built it from the door to door, the B2B to the MLM to the call centers to high ticket and just such an aggressive and insane journey. But the actual thing that changed my life and the people we've been blessed to serve was actually the high performance and the personal development side. And that's why so much of our program and our work, like, yes, we attract people with the sales because they're like, hey, never be closing. Like NBC, this is new, this is different. I've seen it work on cold markets, on all the different industries, and it like right, like we attract them with that, but then they come in and then they get the high performance side, and I think that's not talked enough. But obviously internally, we focus more about the person, the business, the individual, because we know when we work on you, and we help you kind of ascend into your next level and keep growing, that all the other stuff also works, of course, as you're getting the sales coach. It's just a huge multiplier, and I don't think that gets talked about enough. So I appreciate you kind of sharing that, and maybe just like rapid fire, talk a little bit about commissions, what it was like. So you go 18 grand, where that happens, and then I got an interesting pivot here for you.
yeah. I mean, we hit I think like 16. It was like 18K within the first month and a half. Actually working directly with you guys from there. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. I think last month was 27K.
Which is insane. And
Yeah.
and 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 I know there's a little bit of like, just for context, as we're filming this, you literally just finished the month, and I know the commissions are being finished out, and it looked like it was around the 27K mark. I think a very key thing to highlight here, because so many times in the online world, someone will go hit a number and they're like, hit 50K per month closer, 40K per month, and they just hit the thing once, or like someone talks about their business and they're like, I've done 200K a month. And I think some of the thing that gets overlooked is no one talks about the sustainability and the longevity of it, right? It's so crazy that someone will go and do 30K a month, and then now they're self-proclaimed, 30K per month closer, 30K per month business or whatever. And it's like, well, no, if you're not at least repeating that result over and over and over again, it doesn't really matter, right? And I think the other element of it is, even on the business side, sometimes people will go hit record months, but then they're not profitable. They'll get chargebacks, they'll get refunds, and all those kind of things happen. And I just don't want to gloss over the fact that as you're talking, you're like 18K and 21, 25, 27, like you're consistently staying over the 20 grand month, because it's cool to hit a record month once to do a massive push, but to go over and over and over and over and over and over, regardless of the seasons, regardless of the time. I think that's one of the most important things. And that comes, of course, from the skill, the volume, all of that. I think one of the things I'd love for you to share about, kind of as we get to a wrap here, is what was it like going through the journey, and there's no other way to say it, alone, versus when you're part of the Ascenders tribe and movement? Maybe like contrast and share a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think that's been that right there is the biggest difference by far. Honestly, if I had to think back about it, like I went from totally alone, honestly, just like I have no idea what to do. I don't know what to do to fix this. the skill is obviously not there. Like I'm putting the work. I remember seeing like a Hormozy video or something that's like volume negates luck. I'm
Yes.
the
I'm
the
like,
volume.
man, I'm like, I love that advice, but like, man, when you solo on the journey, you getting punched, and you got the person you sleep with or your family, or like, man, you should quit, you should get a job, or they just no one gets it. It's so insanely tough.
It was pretty freaking rough. It was very disheartening. And then it was like I said, from the first call that I ever got on with the NBC in general, it was like a huge light bulb, like massive burst of hope. And then the longer the journey carried on, it was like I don't feel alone in anything that I get to do. I feel like I constantly have support. The amount of one-on-one attention that I get from the whole team, like all of everybody at HQ, is pretty freaking unbelievable for me
Thank you.
personally. Honestly,
Thank you.
I would
I'm sure they'll see
never
this and they'll feel it. Yeah.
no, the heart and energy, like just like I can't even say thank you enough. I would have never expected to. I would have never expected somebody to pour in like this much energy and love into me on a day-to-day, weekly basis to get me to where I'm at. And I know I was probably a little bit of a project, maybe still am, but these guys are.
Man, that's why we do what we do, right? We're on a mission to change and transform 10 million lives, and we do it one heart, one mind, and a soul. So we're blessed that you were a part of the journey, and it's such a beautiful thing to watch you ascend, because that is why we do what we do. And I appreciate you giving the shout out and the love to HQ, which is our internal team, the headquarters, everyone that's involved, from our coaches to the front end team to the back end team, all of them. So much love, and maybe just a glimpse of, because one of the things we do, we coach every single day, right? We have multiple calls to accommodate different time zones. We have direct access to our Slack, to yes me, not to me, my coaches, everyone. And maybe talk about like what was kind of like, what's the support like? Do you get your support, your answers? Like, well, maybe share high level about that experience.
Oh man, yeah, like the support, like you have chats that you can actually go get help in, like basically all day, but at this point there's a call, there's going to be one-on-one time with the team at least once, if not twice, pretty much every day, 5 6 days a week. So it's like you, any questions you have, anything you want to work on, the ability to just jump on, like have Q&A, like your feedback loop for time to be able to fix things, from attitude, mindset, how you show up, your personal KPIs, with actually even just filling out the tracker, so that the whole NBC team can make sure that you're staying true to yourself and the goals that you even set aside with everybody. Like you're not going to get left behind. You can't get missed. And if you do, you get a famous tune-up call from.
Oh, the tune-up calls. Oh man. I don't know if someone should look forward to a tune-up call, but tune-up call is we do a lot of proactive client success and transformation. So we don't wait till someone hits the fan, till shit hits the fan. We're on them before it hits. So at those moments, you get a beautiful tune-up call, and then me. Tune-up calls are life-changing, but we hope to never need to have them. So we'll leave it at that. It's a little bit of a mystery. I one of the things I'd love maybe as a last thing for you to share, if you really had to think about it, and to your heart of hearts, whatever's true and authentic to you, is if you haven't joined NBC Sales, you haven't gotten closer to our tribe, get coaching from myself, the team, where do you think your trajectory would be now?
Wow. Yeah, I don't even like to think about it. I've never even asked myself that question. That's crazy. That's very, very hard to say. I think for me, it was a very like all or nothing option. I don't really know where we would be. I don't think it would be, probably wouldn't have been as good. It would have been a pretty rough journey. I know I would have figured it out. I would have gotten some point eventually, because I would not quit. I was not ever going to stop. Like I was
Love that.
pretty like unbreakable in that sense. It's just I don't know whether it would have been in sales, or if it would have been something else. If I would have had to like start selling coconuts on a beach and go back from there, like no idea, no idea. But yeah, the trajectory and the turnaround time of, as I was doing the math, or just like trying to think back on it, like I haven't made less than $20,000 a month in at least 6 months. Like it's been.
How does that feel? Because sometimes we like talk about the money, and we're so like, when you first get it, you're like, oh my God. But then after you get desensitized, but have you like processed, like what does that feel like to be making that money? And I think most importantly, knowing that you've developed the skills, that you're like, wow, I got NBC, like you have the skills, the composure, and you continue to get the support that you're like, I can keep hitting this and growing it? Like how does that feel for you?
It feels amazing. I think it brings the certainty. It's exactly like the complete opposite of the feeling or the question that you just asked. It's like no matter what, I will always be able to go into I don't care any business, any offer, anywhere in the world. Like the standard comparatively to what I know my skill set is and what I can actually go do is so much higher than the average Joe out there that I like my security in terms of income is guaranteed. Like I don't care what I'm doing. Like if I lost this offer or if I lost like position or I had to go somewhere else, I can easily outwork, outcompete, outskill probably 80, 90% of the population, if not 98.99% of the population. And I'll always have a position. I will never be in the same spot that I was. Because I know that for a fact.
I love that. I love that. I love that confidence. And if someone was tuning in and they're like, man, I don't know. I don't know. Is this gonna work for me? I'm on the fence. Should I speak to someone about the program? Before you answer that, I think one thing I want to share selfishly here. Um, one of the things you obviously know this, Keaton, we pride ourselves on never being has-beens. So even though we invest and I invest tens and tens of thousands of dollars and hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years and ongoing, always in coaching development. I'm always, always looking for the next edge and being mentored and learning by like literally world's best in sales, leadership, communication, pursuit, all of that. And, part of the Ascender's journey, it's an ongoing journey. Like there is no end destination. I've arrived, even though referred to world's number one sales and high performance coach. I'm like, there's always more. There's always more. There's always more. And, one of the things that's probably not known is that to date, myself, my coaches, all of us, we will still hop on different offers, different industries, and every niche you can imagine. And I will personally, you've seen me stream live calls, live sets, close live deals on so many different offers. It's so funny, right? And usually maintaining around 90% closing rate, right? And in other cases, some of our coaches around 70%. And it's just like we don't even know the markets. It's just like new, boom, first call, second call, like. And we do that. And part of it is, we pride ourselves on not being has-beens, and we'll never stop selling, and we'll never stop going to other industries and markets and doing all of that, because that's also part of the competition and the challenge internally to help us ascend to the next level. Someone who obviously doesn't know any of that, like for you, if you had one message, maybe to a previous version of you or someone who's like, I don't know, because sometimes you can get skeptic. You're like, oh, like who's this, or should I do it, or will it work for me, or I have a special industry offer circumstance that somehow I might not think it's relevant to me. What piece of insight, what would you share with them in this moment?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the big difference for me that separates NBC from anything else that I've ever gotten to be a part of is it's like the morals and the ethics that are actually attached to everything. It's from the high performance coaching, from the actual sales portion side of stuff to uh, I remember before, like whenever I would look into coaching stuff in the past, like I would see videos of people that shall not be named, or I would jump into communities and programs. And a lot of it from the sales side would be like very demeaning or like very disempowering to a prospect, or like I could just kind of tell like whoever it was, like they don't actually maybe care about me. Like I think they just care about money. And I guess it served them. But whenever you learn from somebody, I learned this a long time ago that whenever you're going to take on a mentor, whenever you're going to take on a coach, you don't get to buy just like a few of the beliefs and character traits of them. If you're actually going to go inject that to your life, is like you're going to get all of it. You're going to get the lifestyle. You're going to get the mindset, a lot of the character traits, and your life is ultimately going to look a lot like theirs. And I've never been able to be mentored by or get into a coaching program where I've actually felt like from top down, it was completely in line with the morals, ethics, the lifestyle, the character that I would actually like to have in myself, not just in the sales side portion. It was like I've
Amen.
seen some pretty incredible leadership. I've watched, I don't know for what everybody believes on the call, like they're just, for the people watching this, I've gone through times of like just calls and getting to be around an Nostrum. Like I can feel the Holy Spirit. I can feel energy in the room of there's something greater that he's actually tapped into because he puts the work in. And for me, being able to get that in a sales coach, where I know a lot of people, if you're in the industry, obviously, there's exceptions, but there are many, many people in sales that are just cutthroat, here for the dollars, here for the business. And I think the true thing that really separated NBC for me was like this: the whole team, all of NBC and Anas especially, is actually here for the people, and not just the guys in the coaching program, and not just the people that obviously is like getting to serve. Is like very, very, very much that, but even the personality and the character traits that's delivered to a sales call of the you're fighting for people because you actually love them that much and you just want them to succeed.
Yeah.
And you
Mm.
can feel that into everything that you actually go and you do. And to get to be around that and those people and that energy all the time, uh, that's been probably one of the most life changing things for me personally, like out of anything. That's what I meant is like the high performance side, absolutely, but more of the leveling up of character, of the standard of even like my connection to God and people and family and how I go and I
Mm.
love individuals. I'll show up on calls. My mindset, my prospects of going the extra mile and fighting harder for somebody than I ever thought that I could actually fight for them before, because I'm actually tuned into the fact that that is a real person on the end. That's not just a paycheck and they need help, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
NBC had like a way nobody else I've
Amen.
ever.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for hopping on here and just sharing and having an open and hopefully fun conversation for anyone who watches this. And I think the important thing that I would just want to highlight is regardless of where you're at your journey, right? Whether you're making 500 grand a month, whether you're making 5 grand a month, there's always a next level, right? And the only way we don't keep ascending, we don't keep growing is if we buy into the beliefs of I have made it or this is it or the limitations of like my market, my niche, any of that kind of stuff. There's always more, and it's not on, which kind of hurt, it's not on the other side of volume. Yes, a lot of people lack volume, like at the very basis. I could talk to someone, I'm like, man, you're so far off the volume game that you have a very low chance. And then there's a huge element of, we're talking about skill, like you have to skill up because it's volume times the skill times the focus times the courage time, like there's so much of that to actually get you that next level of success. And I would add that environment is such a massive and critical role of when you're around other people that are striving, that got great values, that care about people, that want to make a bigger difference in their world, that want to create a life of true freedom, that want to just break the generational wealth cycle in their family and be able to give back and change and make life meaningful in their own way. I think when you're surrounded by an environment and a tribe and a community like that, like the trajectory of everything you do changes, because the whole thing of you are the sum of the five people that you're around. You're the sum of the five people that you allow to influence you. And whatever that is for you, I pray if you're watching this, that you are surrounded by people that challenge you, that hold you to a higher standard, that want to see the best of you, that just cheer you on, not judge you, not minimize you, not placate you, but really cheer you on, that have your best interest in mind. And if you're not a place that you have that around you and like, how do I do that? Listen, the simplest thing, okay, is click the link. You'll see some link on here. You got two options. You'll be able to book a call, speak to someone on my team or myself. And the other is just DM the word ascend. Very simple. Find me on Instagram or on the school platform and just DM the word ascend. Okay. And I'll have a conversation with you at that point. And I think the important thing to note is we have to protect the quality of our tribe, from our low ticket stuff to free community to our coaching programs, to all of that. That just understand we have no incentive to sell you, in the sense of, because all of our programs are warranted by 100% money back guarantee. So if someone comes in, it's not the best investment, we refund them their money. We haven't ever had to exercise on that, and we never will. Our company mission is always 100% client excellence and success. We do not allow someone to come in, whether it's a company that we are coaching fully end to end, or whether it's an individual, a closer, setter, whatever the case may be. The same rules apply. So if you're at that point that you're like, hey, I want to know more of this, click the link somewhere around here, or find me on socials, DM the word ascend, and we'll see how we can serve you. Okay. We believe in win, lose, or draw. They love you, and that's all we care about. So either way, it's going to end in love. Thank you, Keen, for hopping on, for sharing some of your story and journey. And it's so crazy to go from $4,000 a month to breaking $27,000 a month. And we're just getting started. I think that's the craziest part. We are just getting started, because if we got here in such a short amount of time, imagine what happens over the coming months and months and months as it compounds, and the skill and the confidence and all the momentum and everything that builds up. I can't wait to see where the Ascender's journey continues to take us. God bless you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you, and have a blessed one. And for you watching, DM the word Ascend or click the link to book a call with our team. We'll talk to you guys very soon. Cheers. Ciao.